Hello, everyone, and welcome to ESIP 101. I am Susan Shingeldecker, Executive Director of ESIP, Earth Science Information Partners. Our aim today is to give you a fast-paced overview of who ESIP is and what we have to offer, and how you can connect and participate with us. ESIP is a large community of experts spanning a broad range of technical and domain-specific expertise. It can be hard to know where to start, but once you dive in, I think you will find ESIP is a friendly and welcoming place, and our team wants to do everything we can to ensure that. ESIP's vision as a community is to be a leader in promoting the collection, stewardship, use, and reuse of earth science data, information, and knowledge. And especially important is that we do this in a way that is responsive to societal needs. To me, the challenges we face in the world today in 2021 are so great. We know that data is at the heart of understanding and overcoming those challenges. As a community, we want to ensure that earth science data is used most effectively, most efficiently, and that it is available to all who need it. We believe that working together in a collaborative, coordinated fashion and putting data at the center, we can solve some of the world's greatest problems. Underlying ESIP's work and our community is our core values. For over 20 years, the ESIP community has committed to these values. Have you ever faced a challenge in your work that you thought you had to overcome alone? Have you thought to yourself, I can't be the only person that is struggling with this problem? ESIP is the place where some of our brightest minds in earth science data management come together to tackle these types of challenges. ESIP is a non-competitive space powered by a spirit of collaboration around data management and data stewardship. Driving our work is our shared agenda and our strategic themes. Of note, at the top of this list is our commitment to promoting a healthy and inclusive culture. ESIP is guided by a set of community participation guidelines that outline acceptable and unacceptable behavior within the community. Leading innovation in earth science data frontiers is our theme for 2021, and making earth science data matter, increasing collaboration, and elevating the role of earth science data professionals are at the heart of the work that we do every day. So who is the ESIP community? I like to think of us as a brain trust of earth science data professionals. We represent individuals and organizations working across the data lifecycle, from users to application developers, tool and system developers, data providers, and archivists. We are interdisciplinary and cross-sectoral. The expertise within ESIP crosses multiple scientific domains, and especially exciting to me is that the ESIP community bridges academia, the private sector, state and federal agencies. We provide that place where all of these people can come together. We're fortunate to have long-standing federal support in the form of cooperative agreements with NASA, NOAA, and USGS, and are proud to be a place where federal agencies can come to collaborate. Key to ESIP's success is our diversity of partners and perspectives. Within ESIP, we have 5 primary partner types, as you can see here. Our aim is to have participation and representation in ESIP as a whole and across our committees, from partners active in all parts of the data lifecycle. Ask yourself, is your organization or institution an ESIP partner? We would love to discuss where you fit in and see you as a full partner in ESIP. ESIP is led by our board and program committee. This group of leaders is elected each year at our assembly meeting in January. Our board consists of the president, vice president, and our administrative committee chairs in the green box, plus our 3 at-large board members in the yellow. They meet quarterly. Our program committee consists of the president, vice president, plus our administrative and technical committee chairs seen here in the green and blue boxes. They meet monthly. Volunteers and voluntary leadership are essential to ESIP's success, and I'm grateful to these leaders for their time and guidance. Another group of individuals you will come to know are the ESIP Community Fellows. Our Community Fellows are current graduate students or recent postdocs who engage with the ESIP community more deeply and are assigned to specific collaboration areas to provide additional support. They bring their current research interests to the community, help manage the activity of the area where they are assigned, and provide support to the running of our 2 large community meetings each year. We see the Community Fellows program as a great way to connect with and invest in early career professionals and expose them to the work of community management early in their careers. We have seen many community fellows benefit from the networking they found at ESIP, and many have gone on to be some of ESIP's most active community members throughout their careers. In understanding who ESIP is, it is important to know who we are and who we are not. One of the most common misperceptions about ESIP is we have the data. ESIP connects people. We operate at the top of this slide. ESIP provides collaborative infrastructure to connect people with each other, to help them work together. These groups may generate recommendations and work products, and then participants may go back to their home institutions to implement those recommendations, creating a ripple effect for our work. ESIP does not provide data, sustain infrastructure, develop standards, or compete with our partners. Core to our work and who we are is providing the collaborative infrastructure, the backbone support that helps to lower barriers to collaboration. Many of the elements are meant to remove geographic, financial, and other hurdles and form a kind of support structure or jungle gym. What the community chooses to do on top of this structure is up to you. The collaborative infrastructure isn't static. It evolves daily, especially in a pandemic world. And our team works to stay on top of the latest trends and innovations in collaboration tools. You can see on the right, we use a variety of means to connect the ESIP community and our work. As I said, this all takes work. I want to introduce the ESIP staff team. Annie Burgess, the ESIP lab director in Bozeman, Montana. Megan Carter, our community director in Nyack, New York. Patty Allen, our operations director in Annapolis, Maryland. And the newest member of the ESIP team, Dr. Lindsay Barbieri, who recently completed her PhD from the University of Vermont in Burlington. Each member of the team brings unique skills to the organization. The work of community building and virtual collaboration takes a ton of behind the scenes effort, and this team truly goes above and beyond every day. It's my hope that as you engage with ESIP, you will get to know our team well. Please feel free to reach out to us anytime with questions. From here, I'm going to pass it off to our team to go into greater depth on the 3 primary approaches used within ESIP to support the community, foster innovation, and encourage collaboration. Megan will cover our virtual collaboration work that is active 365 days a year in between our 2 large and visible meetings. Annie will share how the ESIP lab provides a mechanism for prototyping, experimentation, and skill development. Megan?
Thank you, Susan. So in my role as community director, I support ESIP's approximately 30 themed collaboration areas, which are groups of people that convene virtually regularly, usually monthly, around earth science data challenges or opportunities. And you can see the list of currently active groups on the screen right now. You can see that they span a wide range of topics, more technical areas like cloud computing and machine learning, but also more application areas like agriculture and climate and disasters, for example. Most of these groups, particularly the clusters listed here, they're fairly informal in nature. They're proposed when there's a need to get something done. They do what they'd like to do, and then they spin down so that another group can spin up and take on the challenge that they want to take on. Of course, if there's a need again in the same area, they can always spin back up and reemerge as an active group. Next slide, please. The goals and formats of each of these collaboration areas are dictated by the participants, the people who actually show up, so they can vary quite a bit. Some host webinar series like the Information Technology and Interoperability Committee hosts a monthly Tech Dive webinar series. Some develop guidelines like the Data Citation Guidelines are a kind of a famous example that came out of an ESIP group. Others lead open discussion. They find it useful to show up once a month and just have a conversation about leading practices in their line of work, and that's really useful to take things home to their organization and actually implement them. Many of them convene sessions at the twice annual ESIP meetings, including the one that's coming up next week. Like I said, these groups are completely open, they're free, and you don't have to RSVP. You can check out the ESIP telecon calendar, esipfed.org/telecons, and hop on any call that interests you. And my advice is always, when you show up to a new call, Don't be afraid to speak up and share what your challenges or what opportunities you see are within your day job. And that way you can find connections, you can see what commonalities you have with the people there. You can also hop on every single one of them if you want and see, which one floats your boat. I'm also happy to talk to you and see where I think you might best plug in. We welcome you in any and all of those spaces. Next slide, please. So nearly all of the ESIP collaboration areas will host breakout sessions next week. Here are just a few examples, and believe me, it was really hard to pick just a subset to tell you about. I was kind of fighting with myself about which ones I wanted to highlight. So the air quality cluster has been hard at work developing several use cases for air quality data and tools, and they're going to host a hackathon next Wednesday aimed at developing applications to aid both citizens and local governments in decision-making around air quality issues. The Sustainable Data Management Cluster has been producing recommendations for data repositories on implementing guidance principles within frameworks. You may have heard of them. The FAIR principles are probably the most famous, but there are also other principles known as the trust principles and the CARE principles. CARE in particular stands for collective benefit, authority to control, responsibility, and ethics. These principles extend data management concerns to be more people and purpose oriented and to respect Indigenous sovereignty. So you can join their session to learn more about this very important topic. You might also want to join the ESIP Science on Schema.org cluster if you're interested in hearing about or contributing to the set of guidelines that they're putting together that help data repositories and other content providers to adopt the Schema.org vocabulary for publishing metadata about data resources. The aim of these guidelines is to provide consistent machine actionable metadata using web publishing standards so that adopters can achieve greater discovery of scientific data sets across the web, both from large scale search providers to local domain specific metadata aggregators. Next up, the Data Stewardship Committee is going to host a session to update a series of educational modules for research scientists on research data management and data stewardship best practices. These are known as the ESIP Data Management Short Course, which was developed several years back and is in need of some updating. So join that if you want to contribute in those areas. ESIP's newest cluster, Data Readiness, invites you also to join their session to design a roadmap to guide the development of data standards and tools for AI data readiness. And finally, lastly, I will highlight the Ag and Climate Cluster, which is jointly hosting a session with the Semantic Harmonization Cluster. And they invite your expertise on how we can apply data and knowledge management technologies to fulfill the needs of wildfire mitigation and response. So again, I've highlighted a very small fraction of what you'll see next week, but I hope you heard something that excites you, and I hope you'll jump in any or all of those spaces. Next slide. So beyond this meeting, we showcase some of the work of our collaboration areas, some of our ESIP lab projects, which Annie will talk about in a moment, and our ESIP partners during another event we support multiple times a year known as the Data Help Desk. The Data Help Desk is an opportunity for researchers to engage with informatics experts who are familiar with their scientific domain so that they can learn about skills and techniques that will help them further their research and hopefully to make their data and software more open and fair. In the past, these have been physical events held at exhibit booths at scientific meetings, but like many things, we took this event online and we've now hosted 4 fully virtual Data Help Desks. We use Twitter quite a bit for this, and we're planning to again host Data Help Desk later this year in conjunction with the GSA annual meeting and the AGU fall meeting. So if you have expertise you would like to share as part of a future event, or you just like to check it out, please reach out to me. So now I will pass it off to my colleague Annie Burgess to tell you about the ESIP lab.
Sorry, I was just yammering on and realized I was muted. It had to happen to one of us. So great to see everyone on the call today. Again, my name is Annie Burgess, and here to tell you a little bit about the ESIP Lab. The ESIP Lab facilitates project-based learning opportunities for scientists to increase their technical savvy while increasing our collective knowledge of Earth system science. I see our activities within the lab as part of a wide array of activities related to how scientists gain knowledge throughout their career, as you can see in my little triangle example on the slide. And when I say project-based learning, I'm really referring to the real-world projects that align with one's day job, being used as the primary vehicle to drive a learning experience. I liken this to learning how to play the guitar by trying to listen to a song and figure out how to play it as compared to reading a manual. Sometimes we have to use a project in our current work life to help us learn. So over the past 2 years, this has included supporting, or the lab work has included supporting numerous individuals across public agencies experiment with data management and analysis in the cloud. This is something that I focused a lot on in the past couple of months, and we have worked both closely with AWS and Azure to secure resources to support these efforts. Next slide. Okay. Oh, yep, that's the right one. Okay. So as I talk about this idea of project-based learning, what I think makes the ESIP lab approach special is our focus on ensuring that each individual we work with is provided support beyond the simple access to the commercial cloud or to a pot of funding. In other words, projects that we work within with the lab, I ensure that investigators can easily find the technical support they need with cloud providers, connect with the data expertise within the ESIP community, and ensure their projects get exposed to anyone who needs to be aware of it. So what you see on the screen now were a couple projects that were funded through the ESIP lab. And what our PIs have had to say. And I'll say we put out 2 requests for proposals a year for ESIP lab projects, one in the fall and one in the spring. And these budgets are a $10,000 budget and additional funds for cloud computing. Next slide. So what I found by guiding, I would say close to 30 projects with PIs across institutions and career stage, is that if we can align learning goals with science objectives already part of someone's day job, the time we spent learning those skills isn't perceived as lost time. In other words, by taking a project-based approach, it will allow people that participate in these lab projects to improve their technical skills while maintaining project outcomes, and more broadly, help with the transition and learning needed as a community to increase our technical skills. So with that, let's talk a little bit about ESIP meetings, which is why most of you are here, because we'll see you next week at the ESIP meeting. So meetings, as you heard from Susan talking about the community and Megan with the collaboration areas, meetings are really a third area where we connect with our community. They're not traditional, and content isn't kind of presented, be it virtual or live. Our content is not presented in a passive way with one session after the next, and we kind of go home at the end of the day. What makes ESIP meetings different is the amount of content that is contributed by the community, the numerous networking opportunities, and our explicit focus on collegial learning environments. These meetings are open to all and typically draw 300 plus attendees. I believe now for this meeting, we're approaching close to 400. And our attendees really span the public, private, and academic sectors. After our meeting, we ask attendees about their experience, and the most frequent response relates to the people that they met and the collaborations that kicked off, while still coming away with great new technical insights. So, as we all know, with the move to fully virtual events of late, ESIP staff has worked really hard to preserve what has made ESIP meetings successful, while also leveraging new opportunities that a virtual meeting provides. While this session will not provide an in-depth look at the meeting platform, we did want to mention Kiko Chat briefly, which is a wrapper around video conferencing software, Zoom in our case, that allows participants to see others in the space, but also have the autonomy to move around between events and have all the supplementary files accessible to them. Since you'll be at the ESIP meeting next week and you'd like to know a little bit more or have some additional technical training on what the space will look like, you can see a QR code on the screen. Please check this out and you'll have a YouTube video that will talk a bit more about Kiko Chat. And along the lines of what makes our meeting different, I want to mention one particular activity that we hold at our summer meeting called Funding Friday. Funding Friday is a chance for attendees to come together during the meeting, come up with an idea or bring an idea with them before the meeting, create a poster describing that idea and present it to the other attendees at the last day of the meeting. So in this case, next Friday morning. All attendees that are attending the event that morning vote on the posters, and 3 winning student and 3 winning posters come away with cash prizes. So member prizes are $5,000 and student prizes are $3,000. And so for those attending the meeting next week, keep an eye out for Funding Friday projects and opportunities to collaborate with your fellow meeting attendees. And please, if you have any questions about eligibility or the details about Funding Friday, reach out. And now I'm going to let Megan take it over again and talk about the research showcase. So lovely to meet all of you. And here is Megan.
Thanks, everyone. I mean, thanks, Annie. Thanks, everyone, too. I love Funding Friday, and I also love the research showcase. I think this is one of the things that works most successfully in a virtual environment. And I know several of you in the participant list are actually presenting in this, so I'm probably not telling you anything new, but for the rest of you, I'm really excited to tell you that the research showcase is a virtual gallery of posters and recorded demos and tutorials from the attendees. The gallery will be available throughout the week, so you can view it at any time, but we'll also have a live fast-paced event on Wednesday evening, July 21st from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. Like I said, it will have a fun, fast-paced format. Outside of this time frame, you can also contact presenters to find a time to meet with them. They each have their own individual Zoom room associated with their presentation, so it works nicely. It's just like walking up to a poster in physical world, I think. And yeah, we're really excited that this is translated well to the virtual environment. We want to urge you not to miss this opportunity to meet others, to learn about their research, and hopefully to seed ideas for future collaboration, maybe even for a Funding Friday project. And this summer's event will be the biggest yet by far. So I will now pass it back to Susan to tell you about other networking opportunities you can expect at the meeting.
Thanks, Megan. We've heard that one part of in-person meetings that has been the hardest to replicate in a virtual setting is the casual networking you experience at a conference. We are committed to continued experimentation to enable you to meet new colleagues and reconnect with those you haven't seen in a while. We tried to provide ample breaks throughout the day. On Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, we have dedicated networking coffee breaks. And on Monday evening, the meetings committee will host a happy hour. We utilize a spatial chat tool called Wonder that allows you to talk to people whose icons are close to yours. This enables multiple small conversations to happen simultaneously and allows you to move around the room and talk with different groups of people. It may seem a little strange at first, but most people have given us really great feedback that it was the closest thing they've seen to an in-person reception in a long time. So I look forward to showing you that next week. On screen now, you will see just some quotes from past meeting attendees on the value of ESIP meetings to them. We are proud that our meeting attendance and participation has grown in this virtual world, and that our third virtual meeting is still seeing near record attendance. ESIP meetings are different. We want you to show up fully and participate actively. We would love for you to find your Earth Science data home here too. While you're building your calendar for the meeting next week, don't worry if you can't make it to all the sessions you would like. This happens. As much as we try to avoid scheduling conflicts, there's so much great content, it is not unusual to want to be multiple places at once. The ESIP Meeting Highlights webinar will be a great way for you to catch up through fast-paced lightning talks about what happened at most sessions and how to get involved in the next steps. We also record this webinar and share it on our YouTube channel. So as you can see, there are a number of ways you can get involved in ESIP. We want ESIP to be the place where you come to discover, innovate, collaborate, and network. You can join one of the collaboration areas. You can support the data help desk. You can apply for small grant funding through the ESIP lab. You can encourage your organization to become an ESIP partner. We encourage you to engage in any and all ways that are productive for you. If you have questions about where you might plug in, please reach out to a member of the ESIP staff. We will be happy to help you engage. I hope you've learned a bit about ESIP meetings, collaboration areas, and the ESIP lab. If you take just one action today, I would recommend that you sign up for our Monday update mailing list. The link is on the bottom left here to get a once weekly update on all things in and around ESIP. Finally, I would like to thank everyone for attending today. We hope you have learned a lot, and we are happy to answer any questions.